Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, traders, to Follow Up Fridays. My name is Yaroslav Burchenko, and it is a pleasure to be here with you today. Now, we are going to talk about what happened over the course of the week. But before we do that, I would love to hear from you guys. If you can see me, if you can hear me well, and technically, we are up and running. So go ahead. I'll give you a few moments in chat to give me a thumbs up and actually tell me where you guys are from. Every day, I love to hear where our viewers are from. We have a multinational audience. It's great that so many people come together in order to share knowledge and to learn from one another. Now, today is going to be about learning from one another because I would like to have questions come in chat. You guys can ask me anything related to trading, relating to fundamental analysis. We can look at instruments that you guys want to look at. So please be active in chat today. It's always a wonderful thing to see our viewers asking questions and learning. Hey, so my name is Yaroslav, and I want to welcome Pran. Hey, cool to see you here on time before everybody else. Arun, nice to see you. Madi, very cool to have you guys. Oh, hey, Sanjay from India. Hey, see you. I see you there. And Kenyan, 36. Nice to see you from Kenya. Very good. Iran, India, wonderful. Great to have you guys with us today. So for those of you that are just plugging in, just tuning in, you haven't seen our weekly webinars from Monday, a lot has happened over this week. And the main things that happened was that the Federal Reserve of the United States, Jerome Powell, came out and said that they will be patient with raising interest rates. Now, that was very different from their words of before of gradual. So gradual means that they will be increasing rates, but patient means that they're going to be waiting to see what happens with the economy, and that's what they are. Hey, Prabhath, good to see you. Actually, I did do some live trades. Right now, we had some interesting. So this is what I wanted to show you, but I did do some live trades just a little bit with the pound dollar. Some news came out, and this was our yesterday's trade. Remember when Microsoft came out with earnings yesterday? I made a quick trade, a quick scalp. That trade went positive for us. So if you guys jumped in on that with me, you would have made money as well. Hey, Kuwarnu, nice to see you from Ghana. Very good to have you guys with us. So let's get back to what happened this week. We had a great time of nothing going on, but the breakout on the S&P 500 looks like it's gaining momentum. So yesterday we had that breakout candle, and like I said, that wasn't something that I want to trade with, but depending on how today this instrument works, I am definitely planning next week, and I'm going to give you guys some more ideas and reasons, fundamental reasons why it is such a good idea to watch this instrument and trade it in the upward direction. So what else happened this week? Well, we had Brexit votes. Now, that was a crucial vote for the British currency. There was a proposition for Parliament of a complete document in order to present it to the European Union that these are our desires for the future. Parliament itself of the UK denied that motion. They said that 4 out of 6 clauses were denied, and what they agreed on was that a hard Brexit was probable, and they also agreed that the Irish border would no longer be something that Great Britain was willing to discuss. So very, very harsh response from Parliament in Britain. May is going to have her hands full. And you guys take a look at this graph. Look at how interesting technically this looks. There are a few trend lines that are in play over the course of the weekend, and on Monday we are going to get together for Mad Money Mondays and do some really serious planning, because there is some money to be made as I see some trends forming. And finally, because all week we've kind of been in limbo, unaware of where we're going. So Brexit, Fed softening up their position, and also you guys know what else? Earnings season for the top tech companies came out. So let's check out what happened yesterday. Really great day yesterday for earnings season. As I'm sure you guys all know, this website is called briefing.com. It's a very easy to go place for all of our needs. Now, did anybody speculate on Amazon? Remember, I told you guys that Alibaba came out with a super $1 over earnings. Let's check out what Amazon did. AMZN. So look at that. If you opened a position yesterday, like I told you, you would be rich today. I'm just kidding. Not rich, but you would be in profit today. And so this is the kind of correlation that I want you viewers at home to understand. Companies that are similar, economies that are similar, currencies that are similar, they move in tandem. So if one shows us that it's doing fantastic, and this is the exact same industry. Alibaba and Amazon are both retail companies and high-tech companies, like very modern day tech companies. Those are the type of trades that I want you guys to watch. Now, let me see if we have Amazon on our platform. We don't yet, but we will be adding. And you know what, you guys? I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. We're also gonna have another trade platform, MetaTrader. So a lot of more options for you guys. You guys are gonna be able to really focus on your trading with us together. So those are earnings for Amazon. Microsoft also came out with earnings, and this was the trade that we made yesterday. This candle was the one that we were able to capture. To be honest with you guys, it was more luck than being smart. I just have an experience with the stock market that after a huge down move for good earnings, there's usually a reversal direction. And now that is usually counterintuitive, and there's another counterintuitive trade that we will talk about later today. But keep in mind, sometimes the market moves like this against logic because first of all, because of fear, but second of all, because the market makers, they want to capture the little fish, you and I, that make trades where there's chaos. As you can see, we are at a very interesting cross point of the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. So like I said, come Monday, lots of planning, lots of interesting position setting, and I'll have homework for you guys today. So there will be lots of stuff that you can work on that'll be fun over the weekend. So those three things happen. What else do we have? Trade wars continues to be a big issue on the docket, right? So here's the Chinese dollar, and this is something that I really wanted to show you. Look at the Chinese economy improving. At least the yuan is strengthening. So there's no news that I was able to find about the meeting between Li Hu and Lighthizer and Munich, the trade delegation from the US. But this is not what do you say? This isn't fake news. Right here on the graph, this is actually the Chinese currency dropping through the 200-day moving average, retesting it. And if you have access to trading the Chinese yuan versus the dollar, then it's a good idea to make that trade. Doesn't look like we have it on our platform yet, but we will soon, I do believe. Now, besides this, what else can we look at to get an in-depth look at the situation with China? We can look at the Shanghai Composite. Now, this is the stock market of China, and we don't really see much in terms of a trend. We don't see much in terms of a reversal. So really not a lot that we can see here today. What we can see, actually, I looked at this today, the Hong Kong dollar. Oops. There we go. Now this, for those of you that are not aware, this is the Hong Kong dollar. This is how money leaves China. So capital flight happens when we trade. Yes, we will talk about the NFP. This is the chart that happens when money leaves China. As we can see, a lot of it has been leaving China lately. Again, not too much that we can see here or that this really tells us, except that we are on the maximum of Chinese yuans being transferred into Hong Kong dollars, being transferred into dollars, US dollars. So moving on, US economic news. Now, this is actually an interesting thing that I wanted to show you. The Caixin Manufacturing PMI came out yesterday. This was yesterday's event. And it really affected the Australian dollar. So we were almost gonna break out, and then the candle just fell through. So Australia is really tied into what's going on with China. So like Canadian dollars tied with oil, Australia is tied with China. So that's why I show you these graphs about what's going on in China. It'll help us make predictions about where else we can make money. Now, U.S. news, let's take a look at U.S. news altogether, what happened this week. So we're going to clear everything and go to the United States and see what happened this week. So in general, honestly, I saw more good news this week than bad news. If we take away the noise and only look at the most important news, it was actually pretty good. And today we're waiting for non-farm payrolls. Which is going to be coming up soon. Hasn't happened yet. So at first, at the beginning of the week, I was pretty bearish the dollar, but after taking a look at everything and putting together my different views, I believe that there will be some strength. And if we look at ADP non-farms, this is a precursor to non-farm payrolls that we're going to see on Friday, today. That's a huge jump. That's a pretty big jump. So I expect non-farms to be a little bit more than expectations, and I also expect the dollar to really gain some traction. Now, where can we make money on that? Already today, I had an opportunity to speculate on the pound, and I believe that the pound, and more importantly, the Canadian dollar the Canadian dollar is a more important place that we can speculate. Now, why do I bring up this graph? Let's take a look at oil. Now, see how small the movement is in general in relation to other movements that we had? Let's take a look at futures for oil, for crude oil. We broke through, and then we had a small downward movement. But nonetheless, we are still at the top of the channel there. That's a very strong signal that we sooner or later will break through. So this is a false breakout right here, what we had yesterday. I was worried that we would have the same thing with the S&P, but the S&P did not let us down, and we have continuation. So I am expecting a little bit of strength from the US dollar as well, but it is not going to be trend setting or trend changing. For us with the Canadian dollar, it's going to be a good move to the downside. Now, this is one of the trades that we were watching all week. If you were with us on Monday, then the signal to buy was from both of these, to sell was from both of these candles. Another interesting thing that happened this week, right now we don't have an opportunity to trade it. At least I wouldn't trade it. You guys can try to speculate on a fade. Like we can see that we might be coming to an end of this breakout impulse, and we might have a little bit of a pullback. But this is another thing that was really interesting this week was the way gold shot out and didn't stop. So all of the political instability, the fiscal policy questions that we had on Tuesday and Wednesday really impacted gold. And I believe that together with strength of the US dollar, we are also going to see a little bit of strength with the Japanese yen. Now, the issue with the yen is that paired together with the US dollar is not as interesting to us, but paired together with the euro currency or with the pound, those are a little bit more interesting positions. And here we expect pound weakness over the little time that we have left for Friday. Yes, CFO, you're right on top, my man. So this is in the middle of a channel. I wouldn't do anything from this point on, but I would definitely try to find crosses for the Japanese yen. So you guys can find that yourselves. It could be something like the Swiss franc. This looks a lot more interesting. Take a look at this graph. So Swiss franc, Japanese yen, that looks like a good place to continue downward motion. So looking for a little bit of strength with the Japanese yen and the US dollar. Now, one of the things that we talk about on Friday is journaling and about self-analysis. So what we learned in the week, what mistakes we made. If any of you guys want to share one of your trades that you made, that would be fantastic, and we could discuss it. That's really the point of Fridays, is a question and answering period. So if you guys have any questions, please ask them in chat right now, because we are going to go on to talk about a trade journal. Now, how many of you actually keep a trade journal? Can you say so in chat? Now let's go over that. I have an Excel sheet at home. I wasn't able to bring it with me. I am on a business trip right now. But the first thing that we want to have is the instrument. So that's the first thing that we want to write down. Then the position that we are taking, after which the date and time. Today is the 1st. And also write the time. I believe that it's important to write time because then you can go back on your chart and see where it is. Now, this is just for you to like have a history of your trades and to go back. It's also in your trade terminal, but this allows you to go through and every week analyze this. Also, the price that we bought it at, let's just say 113. The next thing that you want to have is the close date. So this is the open date. This is when we open the sell position. Here we would have the close date. So 1550, say that was a 4-hour trade that we had open from a 4-hour graph. Now, the most important part after we have all of this is here's commentary. Flag, pattern, RSI, breakout, ECB, hawkish comments. So basically a hawkish comment is where they tighten monetary policy or they increase quantitative easing, which we heard. By the way, that was another interesting thing that happened this week. On Monday, Mario Draghi came out and said that we might consider turning back on quantitative easing. We might consider another bond buying program. So really interesting. If that does come through, the euro will tank. Basically, they're printing more money. There's oversupply. Currency value falls. And the last thing, the most important thing, is a screenshot. So here in the last quadrant, you would want to make a screenshot. Now, all of this is very time consuming. This is important. This really ties into your discipline. This is something that you must do. And I have a program for you that'll make your life easier. I use Evernote. I'm going to give this to you guys in chat real quick. This is basically a text editor, or sorry, a notebook. It's a digital notebook that you can use for free, that you have on your phone and on your computer, and you can put screenshots in. So all the stuff that I wrote right now on the Excel sheet, you can use Excel if you're if you're an Excel professional. But if you are more if you're more visual and you don't want to do any mathematical analysis on your trades later on, which we will go over, but sometime later because that's more of an advanced tactic, you can use Evernote. Fantastic program. So I really hope that helps you guys. Now, I have some homework. Nice. You should really keep a journal. Check it out, Kuwarnu. Our homework for the weekend. I want you guys to check out, if you can, in your local language or in English, a TV show. It's called Billions. Now, it's not very educational in the sense that when you come to these webinars here, you learn how to make money. If you watch that show, you learn to love the industry. You learn to love what you're doing. So I'm going to show you real quick what that looks like. Sorry, excuse me. What the TV show looks like. Basically, here it is, Billions. It's about a hedge fund manager. What is a hedge fund? Who knows what a hedge fund is? Can anybody tell me in chat? Basically, this is about a hedge fund manager, his life, his personal life, and him butting heads with the government. Excuse me, I'm going to have a sip of water. So part of your homework is going to be taking a look at this TV show if you can. Now, another thing that will be a little bit more educational for you than this TV show, it's also another TV show, but it's called Wall Street Warriors. Now, this is an older TV show. I don't think that they are recording anymore. But they talk about actual real life traders, actual real life hedge funds. And this is something that I want you guys to watch. So this will help you to get more energized, to get more motivation, and to feel a love for the craft. This is a craft. We learn it, and this is something that'll stay with you your whole entire life. If you learn to trade now, you spend 1 or 2 or 3 years learning how to trade, you can be 70, 80 years old and still be making money. That's a very strategical plan for your future. Excuse me, guys. And another thing that I wanted to go over with you is books that you can read. Some of you really enjoy reading books. And here is one book that I just love. Trading in the Zone with Mark Douglas. I just finished reading this book. Really good. Talks about the way you should approach markets. Talks about a few trade strategies. And talks about discipline, which is very, very important. And the last book that I wanted to give you guys today was Mark Mironeri, Think and Trade Like a Champion. Now, this is one of those books that I'm really anxious to read because I love this guy. I follow him on Twitter, and he's a really successful trader. He has more than 120,000% return over his lifetime on equity. Now that's what he says, but Nonetheless, I think it's a great read because he's a very, very good trader, very professional, and his returns. He teaches a different kind of strategy. He teaches you to risk very strategically and very effectively. So that's your homework for this weekend, you guys. Go ahead, read and check that stuff out. And the last thing that I want you to do that's going to actually make you money, this last thing that I'm going to talk about is actually going to make you money. On your day or even 7-day graphs, I want you to go through, pick 5 assets that you like. If you're really serious about trading, there are, less than 100 assets here. When I look through the graphs, I look through about 500 graphs a day. You guys should go through all of these graphs. Here's the euro dollar. Here's our 7-day graph. Make it a little bit smaller. And what I want you guys to do is a few things. First, go through and put in all of your support and resistance lines. So I'm going to give you an example of what that looks like right now. So in the near term, I want you to do this. So the past year, put in support and resistance lines. Put in a 200-day moving average on top of a exponential moving average, very important. And a 50-day moving average. Change its color to whatever you like. I like blue. So support, resistance, and 50-day moving average. If you're a really serious trader and you enjoy trend lines, I would also put in some trend lines. Go through and do this with all of the currencies that you want to trade. And that way on Monday, when we have a planning session, you are going to have a better understanding of what's going on, what we're talking about, so on and so forth. So that's your homework today for the weekend. Even though the markets will be closed, you will have an opportunity to work with the graphs. Don't miss out on it. And the more work you put in before the market is open, the easier and more effective you will be when the market opens. So I'm going to have a look in chat right now to see what you guys have said. Excuse me. Prabith, if I do make live trades and you just copy me, you won't learn anything. And when I'm not here to hold your hand, you are going to be making trades without any idea what you're doing. So for me, my goal is to not open trades that you guys can copy. There's a service for that. My goal is to teach you a skill, is to give you a fishing rod so you can learn to do this yourself for the rest of your life. Much more valuable, trust me. Again, Prabith, just because you're putting in little hearts and you're asking for it, we are going to have an awesome debut event where we're going to have prizes, competitions, trading strategies, and live trading. I'm gonna top up my account with my live money and make a trade, or make a few trades throughout the day. I don't have a date for you guys yet, but that's planned. It's planned for the near future. But you can come every day because every day we do market analysis and every day I give recommendations to where the market is going to go. Easily you can make money. Actually, in chat, if anybody can put in, did anybody make money from my recommendations about the Canadian dollar, the S&P 500 or gold? I would really love to see that, and so that we can confirm for other people how well we work. All right, NFP, like I said, it's going to strengthen the position of the US dollar. But again, I don't like trading the news. I would wait for NFP to finish and then make a position, and usually in the opposite direction. So NFP finishes, wait 1/2 an hour, 1 hour, or an hour and a half, and then when those 2 or 3 candles close and you see a long wick, then you make the position in the opposite direction. That's how I made, or that's how I traded the pound dollar today. So if we drop down a little bit, see how this candle rose up? It hit the support level of these candles before, and I faded it twice. So here you can see this chart pattern. I found, or I opened my graph at this point. The 200-day moving average provided a perfect level of resistance for the price. I shorted around here and I shorted around here. But that is a demo account. I guess it's not that interesting for you guys. Nonetheless, it's something that that you can watch out for. Hey, Kameng from Indonesia, I welcome you. Good to see you. Yeah, CFO is on top of business. Really important to have a trade journal. It's for yourself. Like, you know how a lot of writers, a lot of professionals, they write down in a journal, you know, their feelings and about what happens in their life. A trade journal is not like that. It's a business journal, right? It's something that helps you run your business. You're putting money on the line, hard-earned money. And when you do that, you have to make sure that you have records of where that money went. And then you can follow your logic pattern and your decision-making pattern. The most important stuff isn't the time or the date or the instrument. The most important is the picture and your reasons. Why? Why did you do it? So keep that in mind and do it every day. I know it sucks. I know it's not fun. But do it. Just do it, like Shia LaBeouf said. You will have success. And that is the quickest way to success. Yeah, so what is a hedge fund? Good job, Arun. I like that. So thank you for answering that question. A hedge fund is an aggressive fund that makes short positions, long positions, and uses derivatives like options, futures, and forward contracts. They take part in IPOs. They hold huge positions. They churn the tides of markets. So it's a really big business. And that TV show that I showed you will give you a bird's eye view of what that looks like. Thank you, Banu, for your good feedback. I really enjoy that you like the class. I try real hard. So nice, Kenyan. I like that. I like your question. A lot of people work throughout the week, so you don't have an opportunity to trade through the weekdays. Let me tell you how I trade. So when I trade binary options, I only trade these ones, the ones that give me the best return. So I click this button here, buy return date, find the best return, and check that out. You see that's a slow climb. We're on a 15-minute time scale. Drop down to maybe 10 minutes. And when it reaches one of the lower parts, you wait for this. You have to wait. Let's make a trend line. So perfect place to put a trend line would be like so. Anytime we see something like this, or even just touching the trend line, make it a little bit bigger, like a few minutes bigger. Wait for the candle to close. You see this time right here? That's how much we have to wait until the end of the candle close. And then go ahead and make an up trade. So we are in an uptrend, but globally, this is a small time frame. If we look at it globally, we're not doing so hot, right? Constant downtrend. So maybe even a better strategy would be on the 15-minute time frame to find something like this. Because at any point, look at this, at any point this can happen. You just have to keep in mind, during the weekend, this is what it will look like. very slow, very short. So try to think about, very important when you deal with digital options, you think about the time frame. Like I made some mistakes where I had too long of a time frame for my trade or too short, but I made the correct prediction. It was correct. So keep in mind the time frame and try to time it with the movements of against either support or resistance line that we have. Financial security. I love your question. Please give me some tips. Like Q-tips or what kind of tips do you want? That's all I do is give you guys tips. Good question, Armin. Best time to trade. Now let's take a look at so the best time to trade is right now. You see how let's make this bigger for you guys. You see how we have a group of stock markets that are open. We have the LSE, the London Stock Exchange, the FWB, the RTS, the Russian trading system, the JSE, which is the South African stock exchange. This is a great time to trade. If you're living in the Asia Pacific zone, it's a great time to trade when Australia is open, the Japanese market is open, and the Hong Kong and Chinese stock exchanges are open. So when there's groupings of stock markets, that's when a lot of money is just floating around, lots of liquidity, lots of volatility. That's when you want to be in front of your screens trading. Hope that answers your question. Komeng, it's an honor to have you with us. Thank you. Banu, I gotta rest sometime. I work every day, right? I want to I might, you know, I have my own channel. You guys can Google me, Yaroslav Burchenko. I might do some stuff on the weekends where I show you some other cool tricks or maybe some other trade platforms, but that's going to be on my own time. So if you guys don't have any more questions, it's been an honor talking with you all. It's been a great week. I hope you guys have success or had success. And more importantly, for the next week, I hope you have more success. So this has been Follow Up Fridays. My name is Yaroslav Burchenko. You guys, good luck trading out there. Have fun. Take care of yourself. Take care of your health. Have fun with your family. But don't forget to do your homework. It's very important. Spend an hour or two learning about the markets, and next week you won't regret it. All right, you guys, take care. Have a great weekend.